everyone kind of thinks of themselves like, how can I make it there? But already from the get go and be like, man, let me see how I can bring everyone else up.
Raised as a god. You know, my mother, well, my parents, that's how we was raised. Kings, queens, gods. You understand what I'm saying? So everything has always been big, never minimizing who we are, always expecting the most, willing to go the furthest and stay the longest. So when I made a decision to get into music, I thought I would be on when MySpace was lit, but I was in the streets. So that was the part that I didn't know. I didn't factor that in like, oh, bro, you out here really rocking, you out here thugging, and this is gonna prolong, if not prevent you from being successful. You know what I mean? Because when you're in the streets, especially as a teenager, you like, oh, I can do both. It don't work like that.
Was there like a certain moment, person that made you have that switch?
Nah, I would say when I was locked up in the feds and the judge was like, you're talented, you should be on somebody's stage, you should be a millionaire, but instead you're finna be in somebody's prison, that it made an effect on me. And they used to play my music before court and shit like that because the marshals, they knew who I was, you know what I'm saying? So those things bothered me, but it also triggered me to be disciplined and prepare myself for freedom because this is maybe like my third or fourth run, but or I would say, my third or fourth run. But when you look at it, there's significant things that happen each time around. So it wasn't a switch. It was just more like, damn, you got the talent. Why you ain't blow up? You could have been blew up. All right, this is what you need to do. And that's when the discipline kick in and accountability.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
So it was more like, I just need to add these tools to my toolbox. I already got it. It's just if I add that discipline and
accountability. And then the people that you got around you, I don't care who you are, how dope you are, you got to pay attention to the people that are around you because energy means a lot.
Yeah.
You could be the greatest football player in the world, but if all your partners is alcoholics and you indulge in alcoholic activity, you're going to be an alcoholic.
Right.
So the streets is not the problem. The problem was the energy of it was the energy that I was involved in. That makes sense.
No, it does.
So I'd rather be around the first batch of the first group of men that I was with. It was lit. Like we was doing 2-3 shows a week. But we was too real for TV. So he got it. He was in prison. He was dead. He got killed. I'm in prison. You get what I'm saying? That was unfortunately a common occurrence amongst the original group of people that I started with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then second half of it, I feel like it was a lot of life lessons that needed to be taught before I became a millionaire and ultimately become a billionaire. There's things you want to learn before all the lights is on you. There's mistakes you want to make when nobody is looking.
Right.
Because once once it's magnified,
yes,
you know how social media is. You know how the world is. It's unforgiving.
For
so
sure.
I'm super thankful for that. The stuff that I learned before.
And I love that you said that because a lot of times, as creators or any entrepreneur or anyone chasing anything, we may think we deserve something, but it's like, hold on. If we would have got that big moment, we would have messed up there. Like, would we really want it at that time?
Y'all would have fucked it all off.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure, I would have fucked it all off.
So that's my whole point, where it's like, sometimes we got to kind of look at the bigger picture. So speaking of the bigger picture, now, so it went from, you rapping, what you were rapping, you were actually doing. That's essentially what you said, right?
Yeah. It was.
So now, now what is your purpose with your music?
I treat it like a business.
Okay.
Like I start with the art first, but it's a business. So in the business, you gotta have quality control. You gotta have advertising. You gotta have marketing. You have promotion. You gotta have a schedule.
Yeah.
And you have to treat it like a business. Right now, I don't care what restaurant you go to, they have a set schedule.
Right.
They have inventory. They have a budget. They have all of these things because there's a difference between music and then the music business. We can name countless musicians,
right?
But it's the music business that's going to pay you. So if you want to make that transition, you got to be knowledgeable. You got to do execute, due diligence, all of these things, because very seldom are you going to hear the best rapper on the radio or the best singer on the radio. You're going to see whoever's handling their business to the fullest extent,
right?
Executing, being ambitious. That's who you're going to hear on the radio. The radio doesn't play the best artists. They play the artists who are handling their business.
Exactly. That's facts. Yeah. And I think we don't we don't talk about it enough. And I think like you said, if you're going to go into something, learn all aspects of it, right? Because the more you learn, the more you earn. So essentially, you did your homework. So now when you're going into this position, you done ready for it.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I know, like I said, I know you got a lot of things going on, and because of that, I told you when we were setting this up, I was like, bro, you got a powerful mind. Like, people like you, like we need to have 3-hour conversations and just kind of pick your brain, because there's just like so much that you can translate onto someone else, and you never know what that type of information can do.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Especially the way the media is set up right now, to where everything's just tailored to be a certain way, and if it doesn't go through that route, they probably won't put it out.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Freedom. Like right now, this platform allows us to talk freely.
Right.
Back in the day, you couldn't. It was like 50-minute interview and like 5 minutes of it at air with 15-minute commercials. This is facts. This is why so many people stop doing interviews, because they'd be like, "Hey, bro, you took a sound bite out of it. Like, nah, that ain't what was said. It wasn't played in totality." You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have access to the footage back then.
Exactly.
So it was their word against the production. It's like, nope, you said
They're
what
not
you
gonna
said.
put it on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So all right. So basically, you definitely said you treat this as a business, and I completely agree with you, because if you really look at it, the top dogs in the music industry are businessmen first.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Kanye. Even one of the
Nicki
Minaj, one of the newer ones is Lil Baby, bro. Also, you know what I'm saying? Like that's one of my favorite artists. That's why I had to make sure to throw his name in there. But and then we got Gunna Goes Global now, and then Stunning Man. We got all these artists that are kind of starting to look at it that way, and I believe that's the way you can really impact the masses. It's like you got to be able to have that platform. That's what you guys are building. So my question is, like, how are you able to throw in the culture aspect while still being able to do that though? Because I know you're really big on the Bay Area culture. Like, I don't know, something about your appearance tells me, you're kind of big on the Bay.
Yeah, shout out to the Bay, man. It's just me knowing the Bay is the birthplace of so many things.
Yes,
whether it be music, whether it be tech, whether it be football, whether it be basketball. You got to look at all of the spaces that the Bay Area has revolutionized. Okay, Steph Curry plays for the Warriors. When you look at Bill Walsh and what he did with the West Coast offense, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
When you look at Stephen Jobs and what he did with Apple. So when you look at the Black Panther Party and you look at liberation of people, all of this come from the Bay Area. This is a very, it's a small place that has made a global impact that damn near everybody has benefited from. And I mentioned the Black Panther Party because if you've ever eaten free lunch or free breakfast in school in the United States of America, that started in Oakland, California, from the Black Panther Party. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's when I say everybody has been influenced and affected directly by the Bay Area. I mean that. When you look at the South, whether it be Lil Jon and the East Side Boys rocking with Too Short, or whether it be Zaytoven being from the city and working with all the artists and developing that Atlanta sound. Right. Those is artists from the Bay Area. When you look at LA, of course the influence is there. In modern times, I said it before, the game was discovered by JT the Bigger Figure. And then they did what they needed to do, repackaged them, and then he came out with G-Unit. We know what was going on in the West Coast before a game. I'm talking about on a national level too, because we Ben was raw out here in the Bay Area
for sure.
California. But the game, when he hit the scene with G-Unit, it was just a whole different vibe. So I'm big on the Bay because too often credit is not given, acknowledgement is not given, and it's not about saying we invented everything. Just acknowledge who inspired you, who motivated you, who taught you. And we can't forget about Master P. Master P got his game from the Bay Area right there in Richmond, California. So all these things, man, it ain't no problem. It's like saying the Bronx is the birthplace of hip-hop in the form that we listen to it right now. And that'd be the truth. You feel me? So it shouldn't be a problem to acknowledge that.
No, I agree. And always give credit where credit's due. We were just talking about a certain platform, not giving the full credit to whoever created, that video or whatever they had posted. And I believe it's like, no, if you're on here, you're going to get a piece of whatever, And, speaking of the Bay, man, I always bring him up. LaRussell, man, he's a great example of that. But that's what I'm trying to say, where it's like, I think if we all start moving of like, no, there's enough piece of the pie for everyone.
Shout out to LaRussell. Me, him, and Stunning Man too. This time, like a year and a half ago, we was all chilling. And what I mean by that, we had conversations. I was on his platform, Stunner was on his platform, and to see him take such an unorthodox approach to the top, I love it. Right. I'm rooting for him. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Before he was popular, I was like, man, he's dope. So shout out to LaRussell. He's another genius up out of the Bay Area.
Yes, for sure. So, like you said, there's a lot of things that get overlooked in the Bay Area, right? So the culture part of it, what part of that do you feel like it? I mean, I guess you kind of touched on it, but music wise, but what about like farther than that? Do you? Because bro, I've seen your videos and you're just like spitting game on like what the Bay is about. So is there a couple examples of like for example the Thiz dance? You know what I'm saying? Like I know you know your homework on that. Can you speak about that a little bit?
So when it comes to the culture, when it comes to gigging and stuff like that, first and foremost, shout out to the town.
Yeah.
MC Hammer is one of his most successful artists of all time.
Yes.
And a huge part of his success was dancing. You feel me? In the town, they are gifted. They know how to gig. You get what I'm saying? But never no goofy shit. And what happens with the Bay and black culture just in general is you have people who come and they monetize it, but the way they monetize it is not in its organic or purest form. Like even when you think of the HYPHY movement, some of the biggest artists from the HYPHY movement will tell you, I don't make HYPHY music. I make music that we go dumb to and shit like that. And then they put the name on it. So when you look at the Thiz dance, you know what I'm saying? When you look at the Get Low, when you look at just the Smees, when you look at all of these dances and stuff, and you look at our culture, it's best to catch it in its rawest form and don't like make it look funny because it's not. A lot of us couldn't get in the clubs. It was strict dress codes. A lot of us was underage. And to keep it all the way real with you, the majority of the early 2000s, the late 90s, the mid 2000s, these was all the crack babies that had grown up. And we happened to be outside, and the culture that we was creating was outside because we couldn't get inside.
Right.
So they came and put that title on us. But in the Bay, man, we different.
Yes.
It's a different electricity that we got out here. And, shout out to Oakland, California, because in modern times, man, that has been the mecca of blackness and the mecca of black culture. And I say that based on the influence and the impact. Tupac said if you're going to be from anywhere, to be Oakland, hands down, Tupac is the greatest artist to ever rap, the most influential artist to ever rap. Been dead 25 years. So if he claiming the town, you get what I'm saying, that lets you know that's where it's at, man. Shout out to Oakland, California.
Yeah, and that's why I ask that question, is because I honestly don't know anyone better to ask that question. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said, man, you've been around for a while, so you were able to experience.
I'm also a student too, so it's the wisdom. It comes from me always observing, and I've been a student of life. So whatever I'm into, whether it be music, whether it be philosophy, whether it be social injustices or whatever, I do my homework. I do my due diligence. So when I do speak, you can fact check it and you be like, oh, okay, it's all making sense. So yeah,
right.
I'm big on
he's saying.
You
know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
Hell yeah, bro. And speaking in the Bay, bro, I want to talk about this real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. This is my favorite song right now. Hold on.
Okay. For the culture.
Is it cool if we play real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
But can you say every city on the hook? Okay. Yeah.
I know I had to bust this podcast.
Richmond, Oakland, Frisco, EPA, huh? In the Bay, we be like Antioch, Berkeley, Vallejo, San Jose.
Hey, that's your city, bro.
Like Richmond, Oakland, Frisco, EPA. In the Bay, we be like Hayward. Yeah, I still don't know the hook, and I wrote it. I'm learning it.
I was just about to check you on that, but I was like, hold on, I don't think you said the right word. So how did that? Because that, to me, bro, this is one of those songs that are timeless. So those are the best songs. You know. So how did you even say? I mean, obviously you rock the Bay, but what made you say, you know what? Let me go create a Bay anthem.
Whoo, man, you took the words out of my mouth. Tupac had to live and die in L.A. that they still play. Mr. Fab got New Oakland that they still play. It's a Uptown, baby. We Get Down, baby. It's a song in New York that they still play. Welcome to Atlanta by Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris, and Ludacris, I believe they still play. I was sitting, this is prior to pandemic, so this is late. This was winter 2019. I was sitting there, and I was just thinking about my life, my career, and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm finna experience a rebirth, a resurgence. I need something that for as long as I live, I can perform.
Right.
At the same time, I was thinking about clothes. I was thinking about staple pieces.
Okay.
And I said, I need to attach it to something. I need to create something that's bigger than me. So, of course, I went to two of the most successful artists in the history of hip-hop, E40 and Mac Dre. And even though they both from Vallejo, they always put emphasis on the Bay.
Right.
Mac Dre was genius because he put emphasis on Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac, being the god that he is, he put emphasis on the West Coast or West Side. He changed the world with one hand sign.
Wow. Yeah.
When he did that, that represented everything, every block, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought of it, and as I'm sitting down, this is all happening simultaneously. I'm like, damn, bro, I need an anthem, bro, and I need some clothes. Because when I thought about the clothes, I thought of Rockaware with Jay-Z. I thought of Dirty Pesos. I thought of Nipsey Hussle, and then I thought of Mr. Fab.
Okay.
So it was two different elements. It was the music element, and then it was the clothing element. And I was like, all right, the Bay. I'm like, damn, I'm a Raider, Oakland Raider, from the Bay to LA. I'm like, all right, that's a Raider anthem. I wrote down all the cities. Okay. And then I put it to where it could rhyme. I wrote the beat a cappella. Shout out to Ramey. Ramey produced it. But the original song is wrote just how you and I hear. I'm sitting down because that's how I write most of my music. I write a cappella. Then I find beats. Okay. Stunner come through. He like, we working on a project called Fillmore. Yeah. It's a solo song. I'm like, what's up, Stunner? You want to get on the song? Once we confirm that we doing a project, and it's a look that Stunner give me when it comes to music, pertaining to music. Okay. It's like why would you ask me, do I want to get on a song when you know the answer is yes? Have I ever told you no? Right. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, you ready? But he's also super nonchalant. No matter how excited he is about music, you're not really going to see it until it comes time for him to lay his verse. Right. So it's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm just like, bruh, you don't want to get on the song. He's like, I do want to get on the song. So we go to Ramey's house. We fucking around. Ramey play a beat. And then I had a notepad. And I'm like, Ramey, play that again? I'm like, and the baby be like, Richmond, Oakland, Frisco, EPA. I'm like, we're going to use the beat to it right here. Yeah. That song was recorded. It was written in 2019. It was recorded in 2020. So that anthem was also, it was created in the likeness of what is becoming, to be played, performed as long as we're alive. Right. And the hoodie was made in the same likeness. Like, I'm finna create a staple piece for all 7.5 million people in the Bay Area. Yeah. And they both going crazy. Yeah. And that's beautiful because, like you said, it's more than in the music. And you're using your versatility to kind of bring more to the world. You know what I'm saying? I think because it's important to not forget where we come from. Like, it really isn't. You know, and to me, it's scary where, like, we go online and people are asking 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds if they know who Mac Dre is, and they don't. I'm like, well, hold on, what is going on here? If you're from the Bay Area and you don't know who Spice One, E40, Mac Dre, The Looney, San Quinn, Messy Marv, Be Legit, RBL Posse, Selsky, all these people, just get informed. At the same time, I can't blame them because unlike other regions, we don't really celebrate our history as much as we should. So it's a lot of artists I can name that have made an impact, but if you growing up and your parents ain't in the game, you may not know your history. So I'm not even going to put you down. But if you're from the Bay, shout out to him. Shout out to this platform because it just inspired me to do something. I'm going to come up with a list of 100 rappers that you should know if you're from the Bay to help you out. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's important because and it's even more important to do something about it, and that's what you're doing right now, which is, you know what? Let me kind of, like you're saying, you're learning from the greats, man. You got the jacket on right now. That's a clean jacket. Tupac. Shout out to Revamp. You know, she made this thing. She from the block. Yeah, shout out to Revamp. That's a Black Panther. That's Tupac. You feel me? Said 8-Ball on here, and there's a bunch of other stuff. But shout out to her, man. Crazy. Shout out to the legend. Let me put this notes. I'm listening though, brother. No, it's good. It's good. Yeah. So while you're doing that, tell me about your recent hit, right? All Alone. That has 1 million streams overall. Plus, it's been going crazy. You know, I've been seeing it on social media pretty much every day. Yeah, and it's a catchy song, man. You know, because for sure. You know, I can't sing, man. But you know, me neither. No, I can't sing neither, so don't feel bad. Okay. You know, it's cool. I be humming to it, though. I be humming. You know, we right now we pushing it, and we really looking for people on TikTok to help take it to the next realm because it is one of those songs that transcend past the region. It is a song that I could see at a festival, performing at a festival. It is a song. Shout out to Ramey. It is one of them songs that you could go anywhere with it because for whatever reason, pain, depression, or isolation, it just triggers something in most people that they just feel it. So that song came about, the The hook is actually very descriptive, but I believe it was a batch of like 6 songs I made with that. And me and Raimi, man, shout out to him. I feel like I'm Pac and he Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you guys are making a lot together.
Our chemistry, some of my greatest music thus far has been created with Raimi. So I'm definitely appreciative of it. I know right now we're gonna get more people involved though, because another thing in the Bay, we slacking on TikTok as a region. We slacking.
I agree.
Not the consumption, but the creation of TikTok. Yes. We slacking. We gotta get it together, man. Because the biggest in the game, man, they using TikTok, and we over here. We bullshitting.
We still on MySpace.
we might as well be. You feel me? We bullshitting, man. Bay Area, step it up, man. We need y'all to get more involved and more proud of being from the Bay and posting it on TikTok, man. I gotta look directly in the camera for that because it's been a lot of bouginess. You feel me? We need to turn this shit up.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I think the biggest thing you said is you take control of that because a lot of these labels, what they're telling people nowadays is go do exactly that. Is go over post your song on TikTok so that shit can blow up. Yeah. So if I'm a young artist right now and I'm listening to this, you just gave me a huge nugget. So yeah, well, for one, let's talk about that TikTok. Elaborate why people should do it, and then 2, what would you tell like a young artist?
I would say the algorithm is friendly, and I would tell a young artist to just push. I started off on MySpace. I started off burning CDs and stuff. Everybody's path gonna be different, but it's just like cooking. You're gonna get the fundamental ingredients. You're gonna always add your different herbs, your different spices, your different ratios and stuff like that. You're gonna remix it. And that's what success is. Nobody can tell you verbatim what the path is for you to be successful. But you can get guidance, you can have mentors, you can have people that will help you. Some people may make it on the first song, some people may make it on the 100th song, but everybody who gives up guarantees that they'll never make it. So you may get it in the first month, may get it 15 years later. Whatever the case may be, if you love what you do, and you're talented at it, keep going. Yeah. And make sure, I'm going to emphasize talent. Don't make trash and say don't nobody support you, man.
I agree.
Understand you got some hot garbage, you know what I mean? And then go back to the drawing board and then fix it.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
Stop saying your family don't believe in you. Stop saying your friends don't support you. Stop saying they hate real hip-hop. You're making trash. And you need to get it together. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
I look at it, I definitely look at it in that, some way like that where it's like, you just gotta be realistic with yourself. Like, there's a reason why people aren't messing with it.
And you could be dope as fuck, but if you only sent it to your mama and your girlfriend and your best friend, that's 3 people. It's 3
Not
people
enough.
listening to it. So if 3 people listening to it and you send it to three people, just remember that 100% of the people that you send it to and hear it like your music.
Yeah.
Find a way to get it to 1,000 people. Find a way to get it to 10,000 people. Stop being complacent and thinking that, oh, I threw a song out there, it's supposed to blow up. And that goes with myself. Everything that I've promoted has elevated. Every song that I released and didn't promote, that shit is dope and ain't nobody listening to it.
Right.
Then when you get to that certain level, there are going to be 100,000 people inquiring about the song, 1 million people, but you ain't there yet. So you got to grind if you want to shine.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And it's like, it's okay to have, if I had the cure to cancer, that's cool. But if nobody knows about it, what does it do? You know what I'm saying?
You've got the best lemonade in the world. You're in your house, no commercials. You won't go outside the door. You're in this house telling him, I've got the best lemonade. You probably do. But guess what? If nobody can taste it, you're not going to make no money.
Right.
So get out there. And if you're shy and you're introverted, use the internet.
Yeah.
Be a weirdo in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's what you're saying.
There's nothing wrong with it. They're going to pay you.
Literally. Like, for example, do you follow soccer or do you know like Messi, Ronaldo?
Of course. He's the highest paid soccer player. For sure.
So for example, Messi, have you ever seen that dude that he just is like, I know exactly, you know what I'm talking about. The dude that's just like, that's all he does. And he went to Messi's game, and he just stood in front of Messi, did that, and Messi recognized him and just like laughed and
You're
created.
talking about the biggest TikToker on TikTok.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to say.
You're talking about him.
Yes, yeah.
He never talks.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, he's the highest paid.
And that's what I'm trying to say, where it's like, he just met the biggest athlete in the world straight off what you just said, TikTok.
Yeah. And everybody knows who he is.
Exactly.
And he still doesn't
And he hasn't even said a word.
Yeah, still doesn't talk.
Exactly, which is insane. But that goes back to what you're saying. It's like it's all about how you move the product.
Ingenuity.
Yep.
And innovation.
Exactly, innovation, and he caught onto it. I don't know, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy because, like, for example, the dude that looks like Lil Durk and Drake, those guys are starting to kind of catch on to it too. Where it's like, bro, imagine just getting big off of the way you look, or like looking like somebody.
Oh yeah. You're talking about Dirk looking like
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But
sure.
Yeah, let's talk about because when Stunnaman was here, he had mentioned that you guys wrote a whole series, and obviously that takes a lot of work. So what got you into, first of all, film and acting and movies?
My mother, she's a performing artist.
Okay.
My father, once upon a time, was a performing artist. They met at City College in San Francisco in acting class.
Wow.
I was raised around art. So to create a script, if you tell yourself it's hard, it's hard. If you find a way to have fun, you'll be like, damn, I can do this forever. And when you talk to people who are creators, that's what it is. I wrote In the Bay. I wrote Damn Me Spittin'. I wrote countless songs. But if you ask me how much energy and effort it took to write, none. It's just like the conversation that we're having right now. It's organic, bro. Right. It's like a quarterback throwing a football. A quarterback's not gonna be like, man, I threw the football 400 times today. It's gonna be like, nah, I got a good workout.
What it is.
You feel me? But to the onlookers, it's great. So with me and Stunna, we locked in during COVID. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna be shooting a trailer. We were supposed to shoot the trailer in May.
Okay.
Conflicting schedules and just us not prioritizing it, and then us also being busy, it's not going to get shot till June. When it gets shot, it's going to be big for the culture. It's going to be big for the region. Yeah. It's going to be the biggest series to come up out of here just because it's authenticity and then the versatility in it. And people gonna love it, bro, because when they see it, they're going to be like, that's us. Yeah. And that's what we go out of that's what I go out of my way to do. That's what he go out of his way to do. Just that relatability that's us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like you said, you're just finding different ways to really just create. Because how important do you think it is for someone to create and follow those passions? Because I really believe that everyone has potential, has vision. It's just that we don't have enough tools to feed it. You know what I'm saying?
Discipline. We have enough tools, bro. We just don't have discipline. When you have instant gratification, it's like you want to blow up overnight. You want to be successful overnight. You don't have time to write a script. You're making excuses and stuff like that. Accountability is essential. Even if I take, let's talk about social issues. Me being a black man, me being a creator, I know that racism exists. So instead of me, I feel like going out there and looking for acceptance, create my own path. Right. And accountability is also me understanding the situation that I'm in. So for he and I, we could wait for a director or a writer or a production company to see the greatness in us, or we can pick up a pen and pad, pick up a phone and record, and do what we did. And we're gonna get it created. Look at Squid Games. That's a great example. For years they were denied. Look at Tyler Perry. For years he was denied. Bruh, when you got something dope or you're dope, it's gonna happen. But understand, you're gonna go through them trials and tribulations, and adversity is either gonna make you or it's gonna break you. And more often than not, it breaks people because they're not mentally disciplined.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, or I said it before in the podcast, it was like you have a lot of things to talk about. And I was going through your profile because your Twitter, it's like every tweet, man, is just straight facts. It's like one of those accounts and you're like, okay, this guy, knows what he's talking about, when I came across it. And one thing that I noticed is that you have a great character within those tweets. So how important do you think character is compared to anything else?
I'm anointed, I'm blessed, and I'm chosen. So my ability to speak comes from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to character is everything. Have integrity. Have moral. Do the right thing in the dark. It's not about being perfect. It's just about being a better version of yourself. My transparency is me telling you, yeah, I could talk about saving the world, but I might be at a dice game tonight. You feel me? Yeah, I can go and help feed 1,000 people who may need food, but that don't mean I'm not gonna be in a strip club that night. You feel what I'm saying? My gift is me being me. I'm not finna change who I am. Now, vernacular wise, the way I speak, if you older than me, I talk to you different just because my parents and my grandmother raised me that way. You know what I'm saying? But my message is not gonna change. I'm not gonna go in one room and act this way and then throw you under the bus in another way. Nah, You got to speak truth to power.
Yeah.
Because one day the flesh will fail.
Mm-hmm.
And when the flesh fails, all they're going to have is memories of you. You understand what I'm saying? So when I'm on Twitter, I share probably like, instead of sharing 1% of my thoughts, I may share 2% of my thoughts because my best tweets are the ones that are in my drafts. You know what I'm saying? I just don't tweet
I feel
them.
that. I feel that, yes.
So when I'm on Twitter, man, it's more, it's like random. And I do talk a lot more politically on that platform.
Right.
I be like, damn, bro, it's all this fuck shit going on.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of need to, right? Because especially
gotta
being who you are, you kind of need to, because it's like if you're gonna have that voice, like you know, you're using that voice. You know what I'm saying? And one of the biggest tweets that stuck out to me personally is you said they quick to tell black man to rest in peace, but seldom put any efforts towards black man living in peace. You know, and the reason why that sticks out to me is because I watch stuff on Instagram that'll say, you know, we're celebrating the first day that there hasn't been a killing in Chicago within the past couple years. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, we're human beings, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? So where did that tweet kind of come from?
Being black my entire life and understanding that we are attacked from the womb, you know. Many of our mothers were advised to abort us. You understand what I'm saying? It comes from when you're a boy, you're not really loved. Black boys, we're not loved from society. From very early on, we're criminalized. Very early on, things are taken away from us. And you may grow up not knowing it, but it doesn't mean that you don't feel it because you have the passiveness and then you have the aggressiveness, but they're all transgressions against us just being black boys that become black men. And the peace aspect is more like if you're Latino, you can damn near find a Latino community in every city. If you're Asian, if you're white, you could do that. Once upon a time, I feel like black men, we had that, and then mass incarceration entered the equation, and a lot of that peace was destabilized. But when you're living in a nation where the government views you as 3/5 of a man, this is what's going on. Whether people, oh, the president, oh, the athlete, that is, bruh, the government despises black men. So much so that they don't even want us in a home with our black women and our black children. You know what I'm saying? So much so that they have created routes to say, all right, this is how we're going to destroy you. When you got that prison, the school to prison pipeline, like, come on, bro, that's super malicious. When you telling me right now, we know this school is underfunded, we're going to keep it underfunded because we know this is going to up the chances of you becoming unsuccessful. When you say we're going to uplift your female counterpart because we want to see the black woman elevate, but we want to see the black man in a situation financially to where the black woman looks down on him because we know money makes the world go around. You get what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
So that tweet be also you got societal pressure, then you got educational pressure, financial pressure, and that's on top of just being alive. So we're very seldom embraced and celebrated unless what? Playing basketball, playing football, slinging dick, having money, or dead. All of these are aspects of giving.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just for being alive. It's always somebody is a recipient. And, oh, yeah, you play for the Warriors, so we're going to celebrate you. It's like, that shit phony, bro. And unfortunately, this is why you see so many, you see a lot of crime in the communities, too, because of financial frustration.
Yes.
Me, I always knew early on I was going to be an entrepreneur. But imagine that brother, 4.0, ain't never had no problems. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's quote unquote too square to be accepted by the blacks, but he's not white enough to be accepted by the whites or any other where you go. Imagine those people too. You feel me? So it's this complexity of being black in America because we also come from. I'm not talking about those who migrated like my father. I'm talking about those born and raised here, unfortunately, with slave last names. Right. So it's this complexity that hasn't been addressed because racism is still being denied and then slavery is being suppressed. Right. So that's where that tweet comes from.
Yeah, man. Especially slavery, man.
Yeah.
And really, you know, I think instinct, we think slavery, and then we think, you know, color, you know, people of color.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's more of a systemic slavery of like, you know, like these jobs that you're working, you're barely getting paid enough to pay your bills, and you do that every single month. So at what point are you free? Why? Because you don't have chains on you, you're not
I
free?
would call that mental bondage as opposed to chattel slavery. You know what my ancestors went through, but I understand what you're talking about, and that's the broader spectrum of state of dogma that the United States is in, where
Right.
you're working 9 to 5 and
Right.
stuff like that. So that's more that's more mental.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely understand you in that aspect too. Like freedom, what's the price of freedom?
Exactly.
You feel me?
Yeah, and most of the time when we're at a job, what are we sacrificing? Our time. And
But
time.
what happens when you die? You run out of what?
Time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And time is the most valuable thing, right?
Mhm.
Because the people who, and that's the thing, everyone has 24 hours, but the people who make the most money is whoever does the most with those 24 hours. I'm not there yet. That's why I haven't gotten all the ropes yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is like really effectiveness, and you know, everyone has the same 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different. It's different though. We have, because if I take you to communities where there's nannies,
Okay.
where there's chauffeurs,
Yes.
where there's trainers and stuff like that, as opposed to a community where people are hungry, where
Right.
people are working sun up to sundown, you know, all around the world. Our 24 hours is different than those who may be in Thailand, Mexico, or
Yeah.
or the Congo. You get what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying. You
Yeah.
gotta make the most.
Right.
Of
It's
your
like
24 hours.
right. It's
You know what I'm
like
saying? Chip at it.
yeah. What you're saying is you're still on the nosebleeds. Someone's on the in front row, but you still got to get to that court. You get what I'm saying?
Don't make no excuses, man. Acknowledge the injustices, acknowledge the fuck shit, but don't make no excuses
Exactly.
because excuses is not going to help you be successful. Whatever you want, speak it into the universe. You know what I mean? Speak it, manifest it. It's power in words. Everything that you say means something. Your thoughts, control your thoughts. Don't be influenced by. I had to tell my second born today. I don't care how many people lose, bro. I don't give a fuck. You understand me?
Mhm.
You could put me in a room with 1,000 fuck boys right now. It's not gonna affect me. You could put me in a room with 1,000,000 losers. It's not gonna affect me.
Mhm.
You have to associate, identify with the champions, with the chosen, with the winners, and everything else, man. You gotta aggressively reject. You gotta be able to decompress. You gotta be able to detox, and you gotta never internalize the L's. You learn from the L's, but don't internalize them.
Right.
I don't worry about what I didn't do right. I learn from it, and I keep mobbing. At the same time, I don't overcompensate by overhyping or over acknowledging my achievements. You feel me? Sometimes people get in that space too, where they celebrate being mediocre. We're not doing none of that shit too. We aiming for the top,
Right.
top spot. You feel me?
Yeah.
And we ain't stopping.
Yeah.
That's how I'm mobbing.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about participation trophies, 8th place trophies?
Shit is trash. If it was up to me, the only people who would get celebrated is first place. It wouldn't even be no bronze. It wouldn't even be no silver medals. It would only be first place.
What's the purpose or message behind that? or
Be
principle?
a loser. Be a loser.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Celebrate being a loser. If you
Right.
come in 4th place, you're a loser. And that's just what it is. But you have to remember, in order for you to be born, that sperm had to hit that egg. So you were actually born a winner.
Right.
But when you get into these athletic spaces, these competitive spaces, it's really only one winner, man. And people got to acknowledge that. When it gets into music, that's different because I feel like if one person listens to your song, that's great because music is subjective. But when you
Right.
get into objective spaces, there's only one Super Bowl winner. There's only one person going to win the NBA title.
Right.
There's only one person going to win this tennis match. Just acknowledge that because what it'll do, it'll challenge them to be better. But if you're getting rewarded for being involved, yeah, man, it's big L for you.
Yeah, and I think that's setting you, especially if you're doing that to someone who's 6 years old, you're showing them like, yo, yeah, if I just bring the clubs to the party, I'm solid, Like, nah, you got to be the main one performing, bro. Like, you got to make sure that party's around you. You know what I'm
Any
saying?
of my children bring in any participation, anything, it's getting thrown in the trash. And they're going to be sent to the room for bringing it home.
Because, like, later on in life, that's what I'm trying to say. I think you said it, where it's like you got that 4.0 student that's never came across any challenge in life. You throw them out in the real world, they're going to fold like a cheap tent. Because it's like, there's a certain skill within just learning how to take an L.
Yeah.
Because
for sure, man. Come on, man. Adversity is a character builder.
Yeah.
People can't shy away from losing. I didn't say you're permanently a loser,
Right.
but you take losses to win. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. We could talk about all the victories, but talk about the L's, talk about the missed shots. Embrace it and fail forward.
Right.
You gotta, even when it comes to music. What about all the songs that never got released? What about all the songs that wasn't hits?
Yeah.
You feel me? So people don't want to admit that they have flaws, that they're imperfect. I guess they think everything's supposed to be Instagram. They think everybody's supposed to win and everything. That's not how this shit go, man.
Yeah.
And you kill competition like that, man. That's not how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, I feel you. And that, going back to because we were talking about it before the podcast, where like everyone does start off at a different starting point. Like the finish line is still the same finish line, but everyone does start off differently, right? And I think one of the beautiful things about putting yourself in a great environment is the opportunities are able to come up from that. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm listening to this, I need to be able to be like, okay, let me identify who I have access to right now that are essentially better than me in whatever I want to pursue. So now I could do that too. So for example, you just went to the Warriors game before you performed with your homeboy, and then you guys came across. Shout out Jamal True Love, man. Because I seen this video and it just blew my mind. And this is, coming back to my philosophy of like being around the right people, right? Can you talk about a little bit what happened that day?
That day he tapped in. It was me, him, and Mr. O2 in the group chat. And
shout out Mr. O2
for sure. And when we got there, it was lit. He put on a Jeff Hamilton jacket.
That jacket was so clean.
And we got there, everybody was feeling the jacket. The energy was on 1,000,000.
Okay.
It was courtside. He kept a super player. I always tell him, man, whenever I'm around, great things happen because I'm good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when we was in that space, we was on the sidelines. Then we went to they have a few clubs there. Holland and Unk, shout out to E40. And shout out to Juan, he came up and spoke to us. Shout out to Draymond Green, he came up and spoke to us. I mean, it's always a treat when players meet.
Yep.
And there was this other dude, if you look at the video, there's a dude with the same jacket, but it's black.
Okay.
And what happened
he was probably blown.
So he was like 3 seats over. The dude who bought the blue coat that Millie had on was more on some, man, I'm having money too. You feel me? And I want the jacket that he got on.
Yeah.
So he signaled, he got his attention, and then he bought the coat. But like you said, it's more about being, you don't sell the jacket for $18,000 if you're not courtside.
Right.
You don't sell the jacket for $18,000 if you don't wear it to the game.
Exactly.
You don't get the coat if you're not at the game. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was these different elements, and then it is that energy. Yeah. It's that energy. When you're around rich people, when you're around wealthy people financially, then those type of things happen. Just like when you're around people who are rich or wealthy mentally
right.
or educationally or spiritually, or athletically, these type of things happen.
Yeah.
So for us, it was more of a like, okay, he didn't pay $18,000 because it was an $18,000 coat.
Right.
He paid that because it was a moment and it was for the culture.
Yep.
Had people witness the life that the coat had taken on game 4, then you would have knew why he bought the jacket. Yeah, the jacket that took it on a life of his own for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, it's like these factors, and I think the big question is, okay, how can I get there? But I think it's just the knowing of like, dude, when you're there, there's gonna be more opportunities. So it is a fucking grind building that foundation, but it's like that foundation is gonna propel you to exactly where you want to be.
Believe in a higher power. You're going to get to where you need to be, especially if you pay attention to the signs and you're able to make the changes needed.
Yeah, no, for sure. How do you view it as far as like signs? Like, what type of signs are you talking about?
Believe who people say they are.
Okay. Like about you or?
People, man, energy.
Okay.
Your energy.
Yeah.
None of your true friends you had a bad feeling about. Everybody that you don't fuck with, they showed you things,
right.
Even if they dulled your senses, whether it be a family member, a friend, a lover, associate. Most people who are pieces of shit in your life gave you pieces of shit vibes. You know what I'm saying? And signs.
Yeah.
And that's why after you stop messing with them, you always be like, man, that person was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You feel me? Unless you're the piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody is good.
Yeah.
But despite what people say, everybody ain't good, man. You know
Yeah, and I think the frequencies and vibrations and energy you talking about right now are so real. And one of the main guys that talks about it is Kanye. People may look at him like he's crazy or whatever they may say about him, but there's a certain truth to what he's saying, to where, like, for example, the music you listen to, you know, there's a certain frequency in there that'll make you feel some type of way. Like, if I'm having a bad day and throw on In the Bay, it's going to be hard for me to still sit there and be like, you know what, nah, like, I got to start, gigging, because, like, that's the energy that you're putting out to. And I think, it's funny. I feel like in society, people, like, they see someone with energy. Like, for example, our homeboy Stunna Man, bro, he talked about it where it's like people in the Bay, they have a lot of flavors, because if you put Stunna Man anywhere, yes or no, people, they're first, as a human being, they'll be like, oh man, this guy is like acting crazy, but they don't understand that's pure energy. And you gravitate towards that. Like, I gravitate towards people like Stunna Man, because it's just like that energy is all pure. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to really put it into words, but it's like, it's a feeling that you get where it's like, okay, when this person walks into the room, yeah, like, like, it's a safe space type thing, Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of like the vibes that I get with you and the Stunna Man, and it's perfect because you guys are on the same mission, which is trying to make the Bay Area better.
We're here to make the Bay greater than it's ever been. You understand? So make sure you vote us. First time it'll ever be 2 presidents. You know what I'm saying?
Quit playing with him. Yeah, Can I be the vice president?
I can't commit.
All right, let's cut it out now. Nah, I was going to ask you, though, is there anything else? Because we did about 45 minutes. Usually, that's around the time. Anything else you want to speak about before we hop off?
What other questions was on there?
Yeah, I got you. Hold on. Well, that's the thing. Through conversation, we pretty much answer everything. But, all right, for example, we talked about the prison system. Because before this, I wanted to be a lawyer. So that's why, like, when I asked you those questions, I was like, man, this is something that I'm genuinely interested too. Because I worked at the district and defense office, so I kind of got to be able to see both sides. But let's talk about the rehabilitation system. What do you think is actually going on compared to what's being portrayed?
There's no rehabilitation in the United States of America. The judicial system is flawed. Law enforcement is overtly racist. The government is failing the people. These laws are ludicrous. Reform is needed. And in order for the United States to actually be the best version of itself, many things that Dr. King said must manifest. We must get past the color of a person's skin. And I know a lot of racist white folks want to be in position or be better, but understand, when black people in position, man, we're going to look out for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? People need to get out the way and understand who's going to do the job the best. To these racist judges, these racist prosecutors, these racist cops, you are only committing crimes against humanity in the future, and you are holding us back. You are not American. You are very un-American.
Right.
You are cancerous. You are poisonous. And if you're listening to this, you need to get your fucking mind right. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not for any child molesters, so they can die in there. I'm not for any rapists. They can die in there. You understand what I'm saying? But for those who can be rehabilitated, they deserve an opportunity. So all the scammers should be with the scammers. The killers should be with the killers. The robbers should be with the robbers. That way, in these prisons, everybody's on the same agenda. We've got a prison, we've got a facility with 4,000 people. All of them are in here for the same crime. Then reform can take place because we can hold each other accountable,
right,
and we can deal with the issues of, why did I steal? Why did I rob? Was it a crime of survival? Was it out of desperation?
Right.
Was it because my mind was being manipulated by drugs or alcohol? But we can't do it with these mixed populations. It's just not going to work.
Too generalized.
Yeah, it's too general. So if y'all want to make the world a better place, empower GUNNA Goes Global.
No, seriously.
I am the answer.
Don't question it. No, but what I was trying to say is...
I'm serious.
No, what I'm trying to say is, I mean, for example, I know you have your personal experiences through the system, but from kind of like where I was able to study it, because I studied this guy named Brian Stevenson, and this guy, he was one of the very few African-American lawyers who said, you know what, I'm going to actually defend people who are on death row. So
death row's racist.
You know, and he wrote a whole book. It's called Just Mercy, right? And he talked about his journey, and he talked about how crazy people looked at him for even trying to do something like that. You know, and that's honestly why I got inspired to basically get in the judicial system as well. But I think, for example, if you really look through it, it's like, where does it start off? There's a lot of things that happen that shouldn't, like, people land in jail that shouldn't even be there in the first place. But it was just off of one emotional decision that a police officer made or someone that was in that scene that now it just led to so much more. Because, for example, I've been asking myself this question: do they teach emotional intelligence to police officers? Because imagine if they just control their emotions.
They control their emotions.
I don't
but
know,
they lead
though.
with hate. These cops lead with hate, man. You could kill 10 people in Buffalo, be taken alive. You could be selling some cigarettes and get killed. So that's another thing. We got to stop making excuses for these police officers that's killing people with pride. They doing this on purpose. They're doing it maliciously. They're doing it for a thrill, and that's what's going on. But reading a book called The New Jim Crow would definitely help a lot of people. But let's not be naive and believe that these cops are accidentally killing people. Let's not be naive and think that these judges are accidentally over sentencing, or these prosecutors and these jurors are being led to convict. Right now, man, slavery is an issue because black people and white people in this country have not dealt with it. No matter what people saying, how many interracial couples, how many, bro, we ain't dealt with how this country came about. Just like we ain't even hollered at the Native Americans, bro. It's 3 elements to this country: Europeans, Africans, and Native Americans. We own native land. We own native land. Europeans created the government, and Africans built this shit in blood. So until those 3 things are addressed, we're going to continue to be conflicted in that war with ourselves. And then eventually, we're not going to be the superpower. We're going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, because the rest of the world is catching up while we fighting in here.
Right.
You feel me? So, yeah, to you racists who keep talking about y'all American, y'all definitely not American. You feel me? And, yeah, hopefully start getting y'all up out of here, man. If y'all want to be in a white world, man, go back to Europe, bro. All you white folks that don't like blacks, don't like Latinos, don't like Asians and stuff, take your ass back to Europe where it ain't no seasoning on the food, bro. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? That's how we rockin'. I was out there in London. Y'all try to give me sour cream on the pancakes. I wasn't loving it. Shout out to London, though. You feel me? Yeah, but the
sour cream on a pancake?
Bro, the food was overcanned. It was phony, but you feel me? White people in general, man, y'all just got to tap in. But you feel me? We're going to keep it lit, man. We're gonna be touring in the UK. We're gonna be touring in Europe soon. So when I'm out there, let's have some intellectual conversations. But again, if you white in the United States of America and you only want to be around white people, go to Europe. Gunna Goes Global for president.
Man, where's the ballot at, man? I need to sign